Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at 2010 horror thriller film called Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, a lady clad in a white gown walks to a hospital. Despite the guard's warning, she walks into the maternity ward and takes a baby away. The security gets alerted and starts looking for the woman. A guard finally manages to corner her in a room, but a man grabs him from behind and stabs him to death. We're then taken to Sophie's house where Beth and Daniel Sophie are celebrating Daniel's birthday with their friends, Dave and his fiancée Annette, Trey and his wife Gina and Julie. Due to tornado warnings, they're all celebrating in the basement. It's shown that Beth is sad but trying her best to seem okay. We're then shown three brothers, Adley, Ike, and John, who are on their way back after robbing a bank. John had been badly wounded during the robbery and is bleeding heavily. In extreme pain, he keeps asking to see his mama. The brothers calm him down and take him back to their childhood home to meet their mother. Upon reaching the house, they notice that the house seems to be very different now. Hearing the noise upstairs, Daniel comes out of the basement to check. The brothers attack him and hold him down, asking what he's doing in their house. Daniel tells them everything, thus revealing that their mother sold the house and they just bought it 2 months ago. Beth comes upstairs looking for Daniel and a moment later is shocked to see the boys. She runs outside scared but is caught and brought back by the brother Ike. As Ike is threatening to tell her not to cause a scene, Beth notices the bleeding John and tells the brothers that a friend of hers, George, is a doctor. She tells them that George is in their basement and he can save John. Ike tells Beth to secretly bring George upstairs without letting anyone know about their presence. Beth does as told. She goes downstairs and brings George back, telling him she needs help. As soon as George comes upstairs, Adley puts a gun to his head. George fights it out of his grasp, but another brother takes him from the front. The brothers then threaten him and tell him to treat Johnny. In the meantime, Ike gets a call from his sister Lydia. He asks her to come to the house with her mother, to which Lydia agrees. Julie comes upstairs a moment later and sees the robbers. Alarmed, she rushes downstairs and before the boys can catch her, she alerts everyone with their screams. Adley rushes after her and starts threatening everyone. He bullies Annette and then violently pulls a wig off Dave's head. Lydia and their mother arrives at the house after some time and it is revealed that the mother is actually a criminal who has raised all her children to be criminals as well. The mother talks to John for a while, then leaves Lydia with George to help him treat Johnny. She asks Ike about the money they robbed, to which Ike tells her that his accomplice betrayed them and ran off with all the money. This upsets the mother greatly and she starts dictating her rule of trust to Ike. When she remarks that they can't escape without the money, Ike asks her about the money they sent her over the years. The mother tells him she never received any money since she moved out of the house. She then goes to the people down in the basement and lets them know that to this end they must do what she says. She then asks Beth and Daniel about the money sent by Ike, saying it was sent to this address. The couple tells her that they've never received money, but the mother doesn't buy it. She makes her boys take Daniel away and torture him, but both of them keep saying they don't have money. Desperate for the money that the criminal family needed, the mother takes everyone's jewelry and ATM cards. She then announces that Ike will be taking Beth outside to get money from everyone's ATMs. In the meantime, she says Daniel will stay home and make sure the others stay at the house. If any of them fail to comply, she says, their significant other will pay the price. Melissa makes a run for it and goes straight for the door. Adley, however, shoots her right in the head as she reaches the door. Fear takes over the rest as they hear the gunshot downstairs. Ike puts Melissa in his car and takes her and Beth to get money. Down in the basement, Trey starts looking for a way to escape. Daniel tries to stop them, saying all they have to do is make it through this is to stay put for a while. Trey refuses to listen and Julie seconds the opinion. Ike throws Melissa's body behind a dumpster and then takes Beth to an ATM to get cash. While they're working on the task, two women come behind them and starts telling them to hurry up. Ike tries to send them away, but the girls remain stubborn. Beth tries to secretly warn them about Ike's gun, but when they refuse to take the hint, asking her to speak up, she says it out loud, making the girls run away in fear. Ike threatens them with his gun and tells them to kneel down by the roadside. As a penalty for Beth, Ike makes her watch him torment the girls. He throws a knife in front of them and says if any of them kills the other, they will be the sole person left alive. If, however, no one shoots the other, they will both die by his hands. The girls beg and beg for mercy, but as they slowly near the end of the time limit, one grabs the knife and stabs the other to death. She then attempts to escape, but Ike shoots her down anyways. When people later come for garbage disposal, they find Melissa's body behind it, who surprisingly turns out to be alive. Melissa thus is sent to the hospital. George sees Lydia taking some kind of pills and asks her about them. Lydia tells him she has a skin condition. George tastes her medication and tells her that her pills are actually sugar and her skin is fine. He tries to tell her that their mother is lying just so she can keep her children around by making them think they'll forever be dependent on her. The mother walks in on their conversation and George leaves. The robbers then learn through a news report that the police now know their identity and are actively looking for them. Just then, a cop appears at Sophie's door. The mother brings Daniel up and tells him to send the cop away, telling him to keep in mind that Beth is with Ike and could be killed at any moment. The scared Daniel manages to keep his calm in front of the cop, who had come to warn him that his house used to belong to criminals. Daniel manages to send him away. After retrieving all the cash from everyone's bank accounts, Ike realizes that the money still isn't enough for them to escape. Beth tells Ike that Trey runs a laundry business, which means he must have a lot of cash at his store. She then calls Trey and asks him for the passcode for his safe where he keeps his money. She also manages to secretly ask him where he keeps his gun at the store. Johnny's condition worsens and he tells his mother he doesn't want to die, saying he has never ever been with a female yet. To complete her son's wish, the mother sends Adley downstairs to get one of the girls for Johnny. Adley takes Julie upstairs, but the mother returns with her, saying she's not worthy of her son. She then chooses Gina for her son, but just as she's about to take her upstairs, Gina tells her that Dave works for a bank and makes a lot of money. The mother senses the tension between Dave and Gina's family. She tells the men Dave and Trey to sort their issues, saying whoever loses will have his wife taken for Johnny. The mother also pieces together that Julie and Daniel have been having an affair. The men fight and eventually Trey wins. The mother thus takes Annette upstairs. Lydia tries to stop her mother, saying this is going too far, but the mother tells her that these people are liars who have hidden their money from them. At Trey's store, Beth tries to buy herself some time by telling Ike the wrong codes. During this time, she grabs Trey's gun and aims it at his head. Unintimidated, Ike grabs the gun out of her hands. However, Beth manages to run and attempts to call the police. Unfortunately, she's not able to file a complaint in time before she's caught. Back at the house, the mother is shown to be looking for money. While looking, she finds some old papers and photos which reveal that Beth and Daniel had a son who was run over by a car. After this, the mother takes Annette to Johnny, forcing her to put a show for him. Johnny, however, soon passes out. Back in the basement, the others are trying to open the outer door of the basement, which the criminals had padlocked. When Adley returns to the basement with Annette, Dave attacks him. Trey tells Gina to leave through the outer door and tries to help Dave. However, Adley shoots Dave in the face, killing him on the spot. During this time, Gina manages to escape. The gunshot attracts the mother, who gets enraged after learning that Gina has escaped. She orders Daniel to immediately bring Gina back, or else she says she'll have Beth killed. While Ike and Beth are returning, a cop pulls them over to warn them about the approaching tornadoes. The cop senses something is wrong and goes to inform the others over radio. Ike gets out of his car and shoots the cop. He then returns to the car but notices that the cop is still moving. He tells Beth to run the cop over, but Beth crashes the car. The cop rushes to the car to see if Beth is still alive, but as he nears it, Ike shoots him dead. Daniel comes out to the street looking for Gina. She tries to convince him that they should run away, but Daniel takes her back to the house. At the house, the mother tells Gina that she made a mistake and she's going to face consequences. As a punishment, the mother orders Adley to pour boiling water on Trey's ears. The mother now turns her attention to Daniel, who they have now tied up with plastic wrap. She slowly starts burning the pictures of Daniel and Beth's late child while emotionally torturing Daniel, saying it was his carelessness that killed his son. She demands her money back, saying it's the only way they can save their child's memories. Daniel keeps crying and saying he knows nothing about the money. The mother then makes Adley pour alcohol over Julie's head and proceeds to burn her. A moment later, she puts out the fire and says marriage is sacred, indicating that there was a punishment for Julie's affair with Daniel. We're then taken to the hospital where Melissa is under surgery. Once somewhat stable, Melissa asks the others to send help to the Sophie's house. While searching the house, the mother finds her money hidden behind a picture in the bathroom. Gina manages to free herself by burning the plastic wrap that held her. She then frees all the others as well. Annette tells Gina that George told her to open a gold box while she was up there. Gina opens it to see a set of knives inside. Adley comes down to the basement a moment later to bring Daniel up by his mother, but they all jump him. They wrap his face with a plastic wrap and take turns stabbing him. Trey finally gains consciousness after the torture. He grabs a gun and starts going up the stairs. Gina tries to call him back, but Trey had lost his hearing due to the burning hot water poured on him earlier. Gina approaches him and tries to stop him, but in sheer terror and nervousness, he ends up shooting her. While Trey is crying with his wife in his arms, the mother comes from behind and shoots him. She then looks at Adley's body and gets enraged. She then gives Daniel a phone, letting him speak to Beth one last time before she shoots him dead as Beth listens to his final moments. As she goes back upstairs, George confronts the mother for lying to her children. He further adds that none of them look like her, which means they're not actually her kids. He guesses correctly that she is unable to have kids on her own and she has actually kidnapped 4 children. The mother becomes furious and holds a knife to George's neck, but Lydia stops her from hurting him, saying they need him to treat John. Ike then returns to the house with Beth. The mother tells him to take Johnny to the van with George. The two take them out to the van, and the mother goes back down to the people left alive, Julie, Annette, and Beth. She then reveals to them that Beth was lying and that she had hidden the money in the house. All of what happened, she says, is Beth's fault. Had she given them the money, she would have left long ago. They then ask Beth why she did it. Beth initially denies hiding the money for her own sake, but then admits that she wanted a new life for her and her baby. A life away from Daniel, since he knew about his infidelity. The mother realizes that Beth is talking about the baby she's now pregnant with, but she tells her to prove it. In the van, Ike aims his gun at George, ready to shoot him, but Lydia stops him, saying they need to take him along for Johnny. Ike listens and drops the gun. Johnny, however, shoots George, killing him on the spot. Beth takes a pregnancy test in front of the mother to prove her pregnancy. When the mother sees that she is indeed telling the truth, she tells her that she has the most beautiful gift, the gift of life, and turns to leave. Beth takes her chance and hits her over the head, knocking her out. Beth then frees Julie and tells her to go out to the garage, but before Julie could make it outside, Ike shoots her to death. Beth and Annette also go outside to the garage. Ike comes after them, and they both start trying to get to Beth. Annette shoots several nails into him with a nail gun. The two then pour salt over his wounds and drop a safe on him, thus killing him. The mother comes out of the garage and sees Ike's lifeless body. Sadness and rage takes over, and she goes after the girls. Beth tells Annette to go get help as she tries to stop the mother. The two start fighting, and in the end, the mother manages to knock Beth out. She then starts pouring petrol all over the house and sets it on fire. Beth wakes up amidst the burning house and attacks the mother. Outside, Annette meets the cops being sent home by Melissa and begs them for help. They also find Gina there, who is still breathing. As Beth comes out, she tells the cops that there are others inside the house, but the cops tell her there's nobody inside. We're then taken to the future, where Beth goes to the hospital to give birth to her child. While she's in the hospital after giving birth, she wakes up during the night to see that all the hospital alarms have gone off. She rushes to the maternity ward, where she sees that her child is missing. We're then shown the criminal family inside their van, Lydia, John, and the mother driving away with the baby cuddled up in his mother's arms. With this, the movie ends. Thanks for watching, guys.